Okay, this time my mic can be on. Hello, hello,
Hi.
hello, everybody.
Hello.
I did a big goof. Yeah, that was I clicked. I'm tired, and I was like, oh, I better mute my mic, and I clicked on the one next to the mic icon, but that's not the one. I had to click the mic itself. I fucking re. So yeah. Anyway, I should actually put it to the right stream. So, this is a pretty big sign of how my day is doing.
I know we're finally co-streaming an Apple event. Like I'm really excited that's what we've come here to do.
Yes, of course, of course.
Is watch the new iPhone lock screen announcement live together while holding hands.
So, uh,
Oh, but yeah, obviously you've already heard. Joining me today is Corlin and Shadowlink, and there is also a Phantom about. He said something about getting Fruit Loops, so
Yeah.
has vanished. So
Hey.
he's enjoying some breakfast.
hey,
It's 1 p.m.
the stream overlay is underneath the stream overlay.
Oh, whoops! That's because good catch. I accidentally put the chat box on last because it's got a new layout for me anyway. Because I keep forgetting to actually use the new layout. Like I thought I had it, and then it turned out when I saw Phantom stream it the last time, I was like, "That's not the right one. That's not the one I've been using. Oh no!" So this is actually the first time I've used this one. I just need to configure some of them. As you can see, the writing is pretty big here, but I can get that fixed pretty quickly.
The BWS show says been rewatching some old episodes of Good Morning Source Gaming, and during the one where y'all talked about the Sonic movie trailer, I opened by saying Sonic will never be good. I'm always right. I'm always right.
Oof.
The Sonic movie was good though.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it wasn't.
exactly. Yeah, Sonic movie's all right.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
What do you mean? No, it isn't.
No, it isn't.
Sonic
You don't
movie
like it?
is good.
I didn't like it very. I've been pretty open with my stance about the first Sonic movie. I wasn't
why don't you
crazy
like
about
it?
it. Oh, I thought it's a really painfully boring movie that doesn't really have anything to offer or engage with.
And what about the second one?
I think the second one's actually pretty good.
Okay, well,
Oh,
we
okay,
on the first
right.
one, but I agree with you.
But I think the first. I mean, I think the second one is better than the first one. But I think the first one.
I think the second one is like a massive improvement. It has like personality and like wit, and
Yeah.
everyone isn't phoning it in.
I mean, yeah, it's the first one of a video game movie, I guess. But I thought it was watchable at least, seeing as how video game movies usually go. I think.
I mean,
the
like
first
me
one
not
is
liking a movie doesn't mean I'm like, oh, this is like turn it off right the fuck now. Like this is the worst thing I've ever seen. I just I don't. It'll never enter my mind again. That's
Fair enough. Well, I sort out this chat box because I've done something to it. Why don't somebody start with what games they've been playing? But actually, no. First, I'll explain why why it's suddenly dropped on a Monday. So we did have plans to do this yesterday, but due to varying factors, a few of us weren't around. I'm one of those of us. I've been in London the past week because of the Queen's Jubilee going on. So I've just been away
Wow.
from all equipment and most of the internet and stuff like that. So I didn't get back until an hour ago.
What's the Queen's Jubilee? What's that?
Every 10 years, they celebrate. The Queen isn't dead yet. Woo! And everyone does a big party. I think this one might have been special because it was like 50 years or something. They gave everyone basically an extended weekend, which meant that my friends and family all had time off. So I was like, and they were hosting street parties and stuff. So I was like, well, I'll go down to London then and see everyone for a bit.
About the Queen not being dead.
Yes.
Not sure about that one this year. Not sure.
I mean, you didn't see her with Paddington Bear. She did a
But,
little
but Nan, I thought,
sketch
man, I
with him.
thought you were staying in London so you can vote in the Boris Johnson referendum. As we all know, one of our Patreon goals is to take over a nation, and like what other than the British Empire
I mean,
for
I'm
Source Gaming?
already here.
You know, there's been so many big acquisitions in the industry lately. Microsoft buying Activision, Source Gaming buying the entirety of Britain. Not the full UK. We're gonna leave Ireland alone.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
we
do
can
what they
leave
never
Ireland. We
could.
can kick Scotland out if they want.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna do what the oligarchy could never, and we're gonna make things right.
But to be fair, we're probably not worth much right now, to be honest.
I mean, we at least own Combs, which is one step above Boris Johnson.
Yeah. Well, imagine my vote actually counting in this Boris referendum. Imagine them just not ignoring it.
That'd be
But
fucking
anyway.
awesome if, like, they had to, like, roll you out like Churchill in, like, the middle of the grand hall. You're dressed up as your little cartoon man. Like, I decree.
Yes. We'll run politics all by VTubers, so we don't have to leave the home, and then hologram them into Parliament. That's the future. But anyway, while I am sorting all of this out on my end, because the new layout and the chat box just isn't working the way I want it to work, so I'm going to do that. But why don't somebody start with what they've been playing this week?
So I have been revisiting Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity.
Oh boy.
I really enjoyed Age of Calamity when it came out the first time, which was surprising if anybody knows me, because I think Breath of the Wild story is fucking awful.
Oof.
And when I got into Age of Calamity, I specifically went in because it was being falsely advertised as a prequel, and I wanted to see if it would be a shit show. But no, Age of Calamity is a solid story, which is hilarious. It delivers on the character development that was missing from the original Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, Age of Calamity, I've basically just been gearing up for the release of Fire Emblem Three Hopes, Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes, later this month. So I revisited the original Hyrule Warriors, which I don't know if I've ever told the story, but Hyrule Warriors on the Switch is a broken game.
The first Hyrule Warriors, or Age of Calamity specifically?
No, just Hyrule Warriors.
Okay.
It's a sloppy port, but more specifically, they made some design decisions that break the game. Specifically, so in the original Hyrule Warriors, there was one adventure mode map at first, with weapons for you to unlock for all your characters, and characters to unlock. Once you unlocked every weapon for every character, you got a bit of a bonus, which was a skill, purple sealed skills for your weapons.
Yes.
Would be able to be unlocked after you got every weapon for every character. It only counted the first 3 weapons for the base characters of the game.
Okay.
When the DLC came out, it didn't add them to the total, so you could unlock those more powerful purple skills and use them for the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
In Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, you have to unlock every single fucking weapon in the game to unlock those purple skills. that includes all the level 4 weapons and all the level 4 plus weapons. I heard you can skip it by getting to the level 4 plus weapons, but those missions require you to use the weapon that you're trying to unlock. So, good fucking luck unlocking that with, like, a level 3 weapon. Those missions stretch to the final map of the game. So, you essentially unlock the purple skills at a point in the game where they're completely useless, which also means that the Master Sword is completely useless for a majority of the game, which is
pretty funny.
baffling.
Yeah, I never played the Switch port of Hyrule Warriors. I put way too much time into the Wii U port to justify Wii U original to justify ever buying and playing through that game again.
Yeah.
So I didn't know. I just heard that it was bad, but I assumed it was like the frame rates and stuff like that were the issue.
The game plays fine. It runs between 45 and 60 frames per second, which is better than the original version.
Mm-hmm.
The lighting is all kinds of fucked up because I want to say that a lot of the game is based more on the 3DS version than the Wii U version. Obviously, the assets are from the Wii U version, but
Yeah.
in the 3DS version, they made a few stages brighter, which, you know, to be played on a handheld.
Yes, yeah.
In the Wii U version, they had moody lighting, which was meant to, you know, set the mood.
Mm-hmm.
In Definitive Edition, they are bright as hell. The game is bloom. It has about as much bloom as, like, I don't know. I don't want to say Wind Waker HD because I don't think it's quite that much, but holy shit, there's so... It is blindingly bright at times. I think the funniest example is easily the first mission, where it's supposed to be this overcast, like, gloomy, menacing, like, feeling, because, you know, there's an invasion happening. And on the 3DS and Switch versions, it is bright sunshine.
That's weird. Like I said, I get it why they did it for the 3DS one, but I guess the Switch one is just built off of the 3DS one.
Yeah.
And comes with every problem that game like would have had.
Yeah. I got sidetracked. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is a good game that runs at 20 frames per second at the best of times.
Yeah, it never bothered me, but I know some people have issues with that.
Oh shit, Matt! Now,
What?
now you can put your state license on your iPhone.
You're still watching the Apple stream.
Yeah, of course I'm still watching the Apple stream.
That's why he's muted.
It's just Apple stuff. Nobody.
They're announcing all these exciting things for iMessage, the thing that me and my parents use and no one else. I don't have any friends with iPhones.
You do?
You never fucking reply.
I reply, it just...
Yeah.
I'm gonna Apple Pay you $5 right now.
Yesterday, I got to convince someone why they shouldn't be using Apple, and that's my opinion.
Fortnite.
Oh,
What was
no.
your OG explanation?
Fortnite.
What was your explanation? I'd like to hear this because I also agree with you.
Yeah, because when you're in the Apple ecosystem, you have to use the Apple ecosystem, and you can't even use.
No, you
stuff
don't.
Like, yeah, but you essentially do. Like, you can't even use like your own like any sort of regular headphones. You have to get the Apple.
Yes, you
brand
can.
headphones because they
There's
don't have the
adapters.
original. Yeah, with an
Oh, about to
adapter.
buy an
you just gotta
adapter?
take one extra unnecessary step. Just so
Yeah, but
don't
now
have
all
to be in
phones
the
are fucking
ecosystem.
doing that.
Bro,
Oh,
I
my
have
phone
an
doesn't.
Apple iPhone, like, special edition. I'm
Also, yeah, you can just still use like an iPhone 6S that has the headphone jack.
using the old iPhone.
But no, literally, like any modern smartphone, you'll have to buy a little dongle thing anyway if you're using wired headphones. And I'm pedantic enough to do that, so it's not that big of a deal.
I don't have to
me.
with my smartphone. I've got an Android and a Samsung. I don't have to use a fancy, stupid headphone. I can use any headphone. They're wired.
Isn't that on the Note only? I'm not even.
Anyway, back to the main topic. It's funny that you're playing Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity to get ready for Fire Emblem Warriors, Matt, because I'm kind of doing the same thing, but in the opposite direction. I'm playing Three Houses to refresh myself for Three Hopes that comes out. So I'm right at the end of the first half of Blue Lions. Like, I dyed my hair green and get preparing for the goddess ritual that is about to take place. Because I decided to go back to the game, and last I left the game off, I was like halfway through the second half of the church route. And I decided to finish that, and everyone had been telling me that the Blue Lions route is obviously the better one, so I activated New Game Plus, and with that, bought all the Professor levels as much as I could. And have just been playing through it again. But this time trying to... Because I also bought the Ashen Wolves DLC, because I hadn't bought any of the DLC. Like, the last time I played this game was when it came out. So I ended up buying the Ashen Wolves stuff, playing through that as well. And
I still haven't played the Ashen Wolves. I don't think I will.
It's pretty good. I quite liked it, to be honest.
The music from it is pretty good.
Yeah, music's good. I like the 4 new characters they add. It does some pretty just fun map ideas, like victory conditions. Like there's one victory condition where you have a set amount of turns to basically escape, and you have to get all your units to this like sort of end pod. And any units that don't make it there by the end, if it's obviously any of the main ones like the house leaders and stuff, you fail. But if it's anyone else, then you just lose them. So you have to you're running from like these big monsters, and more units are showing up as you go through, and it actually gets pretty hectic towards the end. And then there's another one where these giant golems will keep constantly respawning, but you can either attempt to rout them all, or there's like 3 switches behind each one. You've got one key and there's 3 switches, and one of those switches will deactivate all the golems and end the map, whereas the other one will summon more golems and make life harder. So you have to try and figure out which of the 3 switches you want to press and get somebody over there as fast as you can before you get swamped by giant monsters. It's like kind of just cool little victory conditions that are just more than rout the enemy or kill the commander. So I quite liked it. There's one where where some of your units are poisoned and are slowly dying, and you have to try and move to stop them from dying. You have to move other units to stand on certain spaces, and only when you've blocked off all the spaces will that heal them up. So your other unit, but you still control the units that are dying. They're just elsewhere on the map. So you've got to like stock them up with vulneraries and stuff, and then keep trying to heal them while they try and make their escape. Because if you don't heal them, or if you can't use physical on them, they will die in like 4 turns, or they'll at least be. I can't remember if you can actually die from poison. So they might drop to 1 HP after 4 turns.
Okay.
Yeah, there are just some fun ideas in the DLC. So I've been playing through that and using them characters as well as the Blue Lions ones, and trying to get all the support conversations, like finally fill that up for me. And it's going good. It is really surprising how much of the story does feel like it's built around the Blue Lions though so far.
Yeah.
Like
I said it before, it feels like the game was written around the Blue Lions. They have like way more personal stakes in the events of the prologue than anyone else.
Like when you realise that Ash has something that happens around his family, and then Sylvain has stuff that happens around his family, and then Rodrigue shows up for a bit, and it just feels like Dimitri has more involved with everything else that's going on in the story than Edelgard and Claude does. Like, Edelgard's obviously involved in a lot of stuff, but I don't remember her getting nearly as many sort of story moments as Dimitri has been getting so far. It really kind of just makes me feel like they had initially planned this story around Dimitri and Edelgard, and then decided just to add Claude on at the end.
Congratulations, you're right.
Yeah. And then they were like, well, if we're going to add all these routes, then let's give Edelgard also a route so that you can actually play on her side, and not just the villains. It's not just have her be the villain. It is kind of weird how that how this goes on. But I'm liking it. I totally get why people's favorite Three Houses character is Dimitri. And,
you haven't seen anything yet.
Oh yeah, no, not in the post time skip yet. So we'll see. My plan is to obviously beat that before Three Hopes comes out.
Well, you've got until my birthday, so good luck.
I should be fine, hopefully. I'm meant to be also playing through more of Chrono Cross, so I'm not picked the best time to be starting these, and then Mario Football coming out next week as well. It's a lot to juggle, but I think Three Houses is probably my priority at the moment. Definitely the one.
I think you're gonna get over your hatred of planned obsolescence when I tell you that Apple just announced a fucking sports app.
Whoa!
Whoa!
If only I cared about.
It's the future, man. Sports app.
I hope it's just called Sports App.
It's called My Sports.
No, it should just be called Sports App.
Sports App.
Or even Apple Sports App, just Sports App. Phantom, what have you been playing?
So just to continue the trend of Fire Emblem, 2 months ago I was in Virginia, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should start playing Fire Emblem Three Houses again, because I first bought it on the day it came out. I played it for a little while. I was like, okay, I can get into this, and then I just stopped. I just forgot about it because so many other games that I actually cared about and were reviewing came out, and so I started again. I restarted my entire thing. I didn't continue from where I left off because I couldn't remember anything, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. I wanna date Manuela, but I'm a girl. I can't. Wait, male Violet. The design sucks, but I don't want to be Violet because I can't Manuela. So now I'm not even going to continue playing him. And I don't even remember what I did. I bought the pass for the D. I guess.
Phantom, you're sort of cutting in and out a little bit.
You said you wanted to date Manuela, and Discord has decided to censor you for that decision.
What is that?
God, of all the characters to pick. I mean, hey, you know, if you have a type, then who are we to judge?
Okay. Oh, yeah, I wanted to date Why is it doing that? I wanted to date Manuela. And male Byleth, because the design sucked. And I want to play female Byleth, but I can't. And I already bought the expansion pass. I don't even know when. So I don't know what to do with the game. I think I might return it. Oh, give it to GameStop. We're going to get $5 for it.
So you bought the expansion pack, and you're not able to date the older lady, so you're going to return the game.
That's what I care about, honestly. It sounds like really petty, but it's like that's what I was looking forward to in the game. So it was genuinely what I was looking forward to, because I don't like any of the other character designs. I really don't.
I mean, all I can say is I don't know, suck it up. I have a friend who wants to date Ash in the game, but Ash isn't one of the male romance options, and so they're playing as the female unit just so that they can do that.
Is Ash the purple hair one?
No, that's Laura.
I don't know who Ash is.
Ash, he's in the Blue Lions route. He's got grey hair.
Wait, can I date the purple hair guy that looks like a girl?
Yes.
Yes.
I might keep playing then.
Are you thinking of Yuri, the DLC?
Yeah, Yuri.
Yeah,
Can I date Yuri as a girl?
Yes, you can date him as a girl and a guy if you want.
Then yeah, I might keep playing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've been trying to get into to keep playing Nipponichi Software's Classics Volume 2. It's been really weird because I'm at a point where it's like, okay, now I definitely have to start grinding in the game, and it's kind of that weird part where it's like, okay, do I really want to keep playing this JRPG? I know I have to, but like, do I really want to keep playing it? But I know I'm gonna fall into that that mindset of, okay, time to just play this game, because the same thing happened to me with Disgaea 5, where I stopped playing it for a while. I was feeling off about it, and then for like a week or two, I just kept playing the game just straight through. Was just playing it straight through, and I was like, okay, yeah, I like this game. So I'm kind of dealing with that, because then there's also 2 games within that. So it's like, okay, when am I gonna set the time for the Zettai Hero project? So I think I just might stream it for a showcase, so that I can still, give NIS that content that they
content.
rightfully deserve. What else? Been playing Fortnite. Been hopping on the night because my friends were like, "You should play Fortnite. Zero Build is really cool." And I was like, I don't like Fortnite. And I was like, "No, Zero Build is really cool." And then I downloaded it. And I was like, "Hey, Fortnite's pretty cool now." I am genuinely enjoying my time with Fortnite. I got a Vic Roy yesterday, my first solo Vic Roy yesterday. I got another Vic Roy today. I've been doing a lot of squads and duos with friends, so it's just been really fun. The new season started, the new chapter started, and the girl that's highlighting the new chapter has a really sick design, but I don't want to pay Epic any money for trying to get that, so I'm gonna figure out how to get the V-Buck, any other method by actually giving the money. What else have I been playing? We've of course always been playing Strive. Been playing a lot of Halo 3 multiplayer with friends. Doing that has made me just realize, wow, I really think Halo Infinite is a complete downgrade. I tried the Overwatch 2 beta. It feels like Overwatch. Yeah, it feels like Overwatch, but it feels a little bit different, good. But then when I go back to play regular Overwatch, I'm like, okay, this kind of feels like Overwatch. If it's Overwatch, but it kind of doesn't feel right anymore. It feels like feels weird and off, but probably because of the UI changes between the 2 games. What else have I been playing? I started up Sakuna Rise of Ruin. It looks horrible on Switch, but the music is really good. And the game and the combat is really good. What else? What else have I been? Oh, Multiverses. Yeah, we did that Multiverses stream. Multiverses is incredibly fun. Can't wait for the beta to come out later. The open beta to come out later. I think next month. Grand Blue got an update, so I tried that again. It still feels, my stomach still hurts whenever I play it. I think that might be. Oh, and Fur Fighters for PS2. My friend wanted to play that game again, so we bought her a new copy, and we found a copy at Book Off, and surprisingly, and we started playing it, and it's actually pretty interesting. It's a really good looking cell shaded game. I think that's it.
That's a lot. That's a lot more than
Yeah.
than what I've been playing. That's for sure. I guess that just leaves you, Colin. You playing anything that's not Apple?
You know what? I can actually move away from the Apple discussion because they're talking about HomeKit, and I don't use HomeKit. But no, mostly just hanging out with my bestie, the Steam Deck, because I fucking love that thing. I've been playing. I don't know why I got in like a weird kick to replay Raven Software's 2009 Wolfenstein game, simply titled Wolfenstein.
Okay.
Love that naming convention. But yeah, I've been playing that. Man, people were really like, it's kind of interesting how like people look at the late 2000s of shooters and they're like, oh, fucking everything was trying to be Call of Duty, brah, fucking shooters were bad. But like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the general gameplay loop of Call of Duty. Like, they wouldn't keep making these games if at the core, like, they weren't fun. And it was neat to see other developers do that same style of gameplay, but, you know, incorporate not military propaganda shit into it. So Wolfenstein 2009, sure, it plays like Call of Duty, but you have fucking particle cannons and like time powers and shit. And it's pretty neato. It's pretty cool. And yeah. Other than that, fucking, you don't want to hear me talk about. Oh, I played Evil Dead. I played the Evil Dead video game, and then immediately regretted it because I bought it on Epic, and then Epic continues to do shitty things. But yeah, no, I've been playing the Evil Dead game, and it's basically like I was fucking huge on that Friday the 13th game that came out like years ago. Oh my god, we played it on the channel once. Isn't that crazy? And all I really wanted out of Evil Dead the game was something that was basically that, but again, maybe tweaked. And that's basically exactly what it is. It's Friday the 13th, except it's like faster and cooler, and the game actually tells you what the fuck you're supposed to be doing, which is really helpful. So I haven't played too much. I've been mostly playing the single player stuff, which is really hard for whatever reason. Like, they have these like single player challenges, and they're fucking tough. They're like Bloodborne chapters, except you're Ash from the Evil Dead franchise. Really good time. I'm really looking forward to the Switch release of that, because whenever the hell that is, and if it runs well, because that'll be a good time. Oh my god, they're talking about CarPlay.
I hate you so much.
I actually got to play Steam Deck last week. I just played a bit of Sonic Generations. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Doesn't it have the best D-pad of all time?
It does have a very nice D-pad.
Oh, it's so good.
I was just
you're being
surprised at how
sarcastic, right?
chunky.
No,
it does have
I'm
a
not
good
being
D-pad,
sarcastic.
yeah. I mean, especially compared to
it's-
like the Switches.
Compared to anything, it's legitimately the best D-pad on a controller since, I want to say, like, the Wii U gamepad.
Whoa.
Mhm.
Whoa.
It's really good.
Whoa. That sounds like bullshit, but okay.
No, you don't understand. It has a fulcrum. It actually fucking pivots.
Nah, that you said but since the Wii, but the Joy-Con D-pad is great.
No, it's not. The Joy-Con
It's
D-pad
much
is
better than that.
I love the
objectively
Joy-Con.
not
It's so
D-pad
much
fighting
better
game
than
so
that.
much.
Nintendo dropped the ball on the D-pad of this generation.
They dropped the D-pad for the Pro controller, but the Joy-Con is really good.
No.
I agree.
Do
I agree
not
with myself.
agree. Yeah, you can agree with yourself.
I
That's
agree with
fine.
myself.
Have that self-confidence in yourself, Phantom, to be wrong.
Hey, I'm never wrong. Trust me, I tried it. It didn't work.
Right, sure. Anyway, shall we move on to some news from this week? And the news keeps coming. There's more news has just been dropping today.
Yeah, there's a whole Apple conference
No.
going on.
From this week.
I got a news
Get out of here.
from literally like a couple minutes ago.
Okay.
Square Enix has said that Crystal Dynamics
yeah.
and Eidos sale money won't be invested in NFTs and blockchain.
Yeah, I saw that headline when I was checking for the stream.
Should've
I wonder
actually
if maybe
last one,
the
but,
crash right now is might be causing that change of opinion.
God, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm really glad E3's not happening, so we wouldn't have to sit through whatever fucking Square Enix
Square
direct.
Enix and their blockchain,
Yeah.
where they just show off all the stuff they've already shown off in every other.
That's
Direct.
right. We are fully, like, remaking Chrono Trigger for Windows 11 PCs only. It's like,
Yeah, no, I saw that. So, I mean, this is it's obviously better that they're not investing that money into NFT crypto stuff, but I just cannot get behind anything Square Enix really does at the moment, except for the re-release, the remakes of older games like the Live a Life game that's coming out. Like Chocobo GP Season 2 apparently just started, and I have just lost all interest in that game after playing it when it came out. It's Square Enix have really done themselves. Final Fantasy 16 looks alright though. I'll give them that, which is a pretty good transition over to the state of play that we had last week, because they actually, like, for once, state of play really did come out with some big announcements.
Yup.
Stuff actually
Best state of
worth
play we'll
remembering.
ever get. Genuinely surprised.
State of Play was like a really good time. Like, they showed what I wanted to see. It was really me oriented in the beginning there, because they had RE4 make, which looks like RE4 with modern graphics. But then they said it was in PSVR, and I went, ooh. And then they said RE8's coming to PSVR, and I went, ooh. And then they fucking said that like they showed off Saints and Sinners 2, which apparently is coming to both PSVR 1 and 2. So ooh. And then Street 6 looks good. Spider-Man coming to PC.
Yeah, coming to PC.
And Miles Morales.
And yeah, both Spider-Mans.
Yeah, my brother was excited about that.
I was really thrown off because right before the PlayStation Direct happened, there was like a leak that was showing screenshots of the PC versions of like Returnal and that Sackboy launch game for the PS5, and I'm just like, oh, they're gonna announce that here. And no, it was Spider-Man, which is like no one saw coming because that didn't leak. So it's like you're like, whoa, but also like God damn it, I do really want to play Returnal too.
Yeah, that's. I don't have a PS5, so.
Don't worry, neither do most people.
Good. And they also had that cat game, didn't they? Stray.
Which is also coming to PC, so don't worry about not having PS5 or 4.
The Callisto Protocol, which was like a horror game. It's the Dead Space game. That's what it was.
It's the PUBG game that's not a PUBG game anymore.
They had the other a new rollerblading game, which just reminded me that the Ubisoft rollerblading game didn't come out, but then I found out it actually did come out, and it came out like a week ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what? You what?
It came out of fucking nowhere, and then they went, oh, it's here. It's just out.
Yeah.
Is it free?
I don't know. Roller Champion.
Yeah.
I literally only found out it was out because I made a comment on Twitter about Rollerdrome, and was like, "What happened to that Ubisoft rollerblading game?" And everyone was like, "It's out," and I was like, "What?" Yeah, it is free to play. Yeah.
Yeah, it's free to play, but for some reason it says $10 on PlayStation. So how weird.
Right. Okay. Free to it says free to play $12.99.
It's also not on Switch, so cringe, uninstalled. Fuck Ubisoft.
It's on PC though.
Man, so. I got to feel bad for the developers of Roller Champions. Like, Ubisoft came out and announced this game that looked like it might be interesting, maybe, and then it just fell off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
I mean, Ubisoft is like they are the kings of launching free to play games that not a single soul touches. And it's insane. They roll out like 3 a year. And they're all like supposed to be big releases, but they're all also like shadow drops. Cause like there was the fucking Twitch-centric battle royale from like 3 years ago or 2 years ago. I don't fucking remember. And then there was like the 4 like Tom Clancy like Call of Duty clones. Like they have so much shit they like throw out and no one plays. It's so fucking weird. I wonder if it's a tax thing. I wonder if it's like a tax dodge.
Speaking of play games, Knockout City's
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Fall Guys is free to play.
Yeah, but they took it off of Steam.
Oh yeah. But if you already had it, good. But, and it's finally coming to Switch this month, I think, right? June.
It's
25th or
honestly
something.
like it's really annoying that when the announcement went out that Epic bought them, they were like, "Don't worry, we're not going to do the Rocket League thing," and then they
And then they
did
did
the
it.
Rocket League thing.
Thanks,
Also,
Epic.
among us, all
Among
this,
Us.
sus, I found out that even though on Steam it says Fall Guys doesn't work on the Steam Deck, it actually does. They just put the anti-cheat file in the wrong fucking folder.
You'll have to see it.
I honestly, like, shit like that is like genuinely annoying. Like I've grown to have a distaste for so many fucking corporations after getting the Steam Deck, just on the basis of like, why aren't they making their games Linux compatible? Like, what's the why do we do these big bitch fests about like open platforms and then not support the open platform?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense to me. I don't.
What other, I guess before we get into more recent stuff, what other news have we missed out on?
Well, I mean, other state of play stuff, because that's what we were going through. We just got a bit sidetracked.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were going through that. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Some game called Eternites, some action anime dating
Yeah,
game.
the Persona inspired away.
the whole press R2 to hold hands.
Which, honestly, when I was watching the presentation and that trailer come up, was like a friend of mine was like, "What is this, Persona 6?" I was like, "What?" And then the creator posted their tweet. I was like, "I was inspired by Persona 5, 3, and 4," and then I started playing Persona 5 when it came out, or something like that. And then I decided to I was inspired by it so much that I decided to make a game. So I mean, like, the fact that they made a game in, I think it said Royal actually was the version that they were playing. So the fact that they made a game in like what, 2 or 3 years, that's pretty impressive.
I mean,
like you're an indie
developer, but
yeah. Like granted, they got funding through Kowloon Studio or Kowloon Knights Studio, but the fact that you're still making a game and it got featured in the state of play and you're an indie creator, that's pretty sick. Congrats to you.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I mean, also that Volcano High game was also an indie studio that got shown off in presentation.
I need a new trailer for Goodbye Volcano High. They said that they're rewriting the entire thing, but I don't know when it's gonna come out. I need to see it. I'm actually really hyped for that game. I want to see it so badly.
I hope it's just shadow drop so I can one day just be like, what happened to that Volcano High dating game and everyone can tell me it's out. And then a new one is immediately announced by a different company. And then there's also Tunic, which I've heard is really good. That's coming to PlayStation now. I think it was Xbox and PC exclusive, I think, before.
Mm-hmm.
Something called Season, which I don't know what that is. I'm just sort of...
Was Season the bike one?
Is it Bloodborne? I've just got an image in front of me.
The game, there was that game with the person that was like traveling to different places on their bike. Gosh, it had a very beautiful art style. I can't remember what the name of the game was. It was like right after the Street Fighter 6 trailer.
Yeah, it must be that one then, because I'm assuming what I'm looking at is in order that they were announced. And seasons.
That game looked incredibly beautiful. I can't wait to play it. Well, if it's on PC.
Yeah, apparently it is. PS4, PS5, and PC.
Yes. Okay. I'll try to pick it up when I get money.
Yeah. And then I think like the two biggest announcements that everyone's been talking about outside of Resident Evil, obviously, with more Final Fantasy 16 stuff, with it being pushed to summer 2023, and Street Fighter 6 actually getting like proper gameplay now.
Yeah. To talk about, I guess, Final Fantasy 16 first. The action looks crazy.
Yeah.
The UI, it is definitely from the Final Fantasy 14 team, but I think of course the game's coming out summer, so I think it has time to change visually, not in terms of like, the numbers appearing when you hit characters. I just mean like the actual design of it looks very basic right now. And I would like to see more of how the game is going to be structured in terms of exploration or the world, because out of everything, the trailer looks okay, the combat looked great. That first trailer in terms of story actually interested me a lot more than the second trailer, even though like seeing all like the summons was really cool.
Yeah, and I think this one's more of a gameplay trailer because if I remember right from the first trailer, there wasn't a massive amount of
Only a little
proper
bit.
gameplay. It was just more setting building and showing off characters and story and stuff.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people be not too thrilled or like been iffy on Final Fantasy 16, and I think it's because we haven't seen a lot of like what the actual outside of now just seeing combat what the actual world is going to be like, but also because like even though every Final Fantasy has like its own aesthetic, this one kind of goes back to more maybe medieval isn't the right word, but like fantasy Europe, kind of like maybe European based in terms of like when I see it, for some reason I think a little bit of Game of Thrones, but I've never even seen Game of Thrones, but for some reason it feels like that kind of like current Western depiction of like European fantasy, medieval fantasy. It feels like that is in Final Fantasy 16, and I'm not too much of a fan of that personally, but I think some of the character designs are really cool, so I'm also mixed on that as well.
Yeah, so I quite like that it's going back to sort of medieval fantasy style. Ever since 7, Final Fantasy has very much been taken over by Nomura-isms for for quite a bit.
That's why I love it.
Like Final Fantasy 9 tried to go back to the traditional style of Final Fantasy, and then Final Fantasy 12 sort of did its own completely separate thing. I feel like 12 might be sort of more inspired by Final Fantasy 11, which then obviously Final Fantasy 14 follows on from that. So there are like a handful of different aesthetics, but I think by Final Fantasy 15 it was getting pretty tiresome how much of it was Nomurified. Yeah. I think going back to a more medieval fantasy style, trying to not be as anime, I guess, as recent Final Fantasies, is probably a good thing, especially because I feel like that's also what Final Fantasy 14 is, and it's clearly like the most popular Final Fantasy at the moment. So even just from a marketing POV, it probably makes more sense to do that for this one. And also just change it up. I mean, if this doesn't work and most people criticize it, they can always go back to being super anime in Final Fantasy 17. I just don't think they will. I mean, people obviously really like Final Fantasy 7, but from what I understand, Final Fantasy 9 is like the actual best PS1 Final Fantasy game. Like, and that has a completely different style in and of itself. So, but Final Fantasy looks fun. I'll see more. Whether I play it or not, we'll see. Final Fantasy games tend to be games that everyone around me plays, and I just sort of either watch or learn from them, and then I pick up 10 years later.
We still don't know if it's coming to PC yet, right?
No, I mean at the moment it's looking like it's a PS5 exclusive, and it wouldn't surprise me if that. I imagine it will go the same way Final Fantasy VII Remake did, where it was a Sony exclusive at the start, and then came to PC like a year or so later.
Do we know if it's being made with Unreal or not? I don't remember if that was in the trailer. If it is coming on Unreal, that means it's coming to Epic Games Store.
I don't know, actually. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if it was using Unreal Engine 5. But I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Well, no, I don't think. Was it Forspoken, whatever that game is? That other Final Fantasy game? Isn't that game using Unreal Engine 5 or is that Luminous Engine?
I don't know, I'm afraid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 16's engine hasn't been confirmed yet.
Right, okay. So anyway, Street Fighter 6 is the other big one that was shown off. And alright, I think it immediately looks better than Street Fighter 5 did when it was shown off. So that's a good start. Like I'm not big on Luke, the new MC. He was also like the last DLC character they added to Street Fighter 5, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
He just seems a bit generic American young boxer kid, MMA kid or whatever. But I think the aesthetics are really good. They're like a good mix of stylized, but also still somewhat a bit realistic.
Yeah.
Because I think that's
very detailed.
Yeah. And I find it really wild how there is, I guess, a custom character you can now run around like Metro City and
yeah, they're doing Jump Force.
Yeah, they're doing a Jump Force thing, but I trust Capcom to do Jump Force well. And I think for long-term Capcom fans, just being able to run around Metro City again is probably in and of itself a really fun idea. Because when was the last when did the last Final Fight game come out?
I have no idea. I could not tell you.
Yeah. So that's I just think that's pretty fun. It's interesting idea for a story mode for a fighting game, especially because those tend to not be great anyway.
I'm really, it's really happy to see everybody else being happy about Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
Because I personally I do like the way Street Fighter 5 looks, but Street Fighter 6 looks absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I think there's some weird parts about it, like how you're saying, like it's like a mix between stylized and realism.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it kind of reminds me of like Devil May Cry 5, where it's like these are like you've seen the way these characters look before this game, so it's like they have a certain depiction of them. We're now seeing them more like with like realistic textures and stuff, but that's like this isn't a real person. But you're kind of trying to make it look like a real person, but no real person looks like this. So it's like in this it's in this between. It's like it's not uncanny, really, but it's like I look at you and I don't see. I know who you're supposed to be, but you really don't look like this person that you're supposed to be. And in some ways, I don't feel that with Chun-Li. I think Chun-Li actually looks really good.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Chun-Li is the one that I think people have been pointing out as.
I think from some angles because of her hair. I think if they made her hair a bit bigger, it would look better, because in some angles it looks like her forehead is sticking out a lot from where her hair is, so it looks strange. But I think Chun-Li looks fine for the most part.
Interesting. I don't think it's her. I think it's her eyes that I think people
really?
have. Yeah, I think Chun-Li
small.
Yeah, I think because they're much smaller, they're more realistically sized. But I'm pretty sure in past Street Fighter games they were a lot bigger. And I think that's probably why her forehead looks a bit bigger here, because her eyes are smaller now. I think the head shape is probably still the same.
I think the smaller eyes is actually a good way to do it, because she's supposed to be like older now.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh, she's like a Street Fighter 5, she has bigger eyes. It's like, oh yeah, she's still kind of pretty, like, I guess young. I think she's like in her 30s or something.
Do we know where this even fits in the Street Fighter timeline?
This is after Street Fighter 3.
This is so this is actually late. Oh wow!
A lot of people were assuming it, but they confirmed it today on Twitter that when they posted Ryu's info, like they posted like a character summary of Ryu, and they specifically stated that this takes place after the Street Fighter 3 series.
Oh wow! Okay, we're actually getting on there. I wonder if we'll get Street Fighter 3 characters then. Finally.
I hope that I don't know if you want to talk about the leak later. But
I don't know. I mean, the only thing I know about the leak is that the roster got leaked and Ken looks like he's lost all of his crypto money.
Yes. So
it's basically all I really know about it.
just to shortly touch on the leak. The roster got leaked. There's a little bit that I believe are missing. Mm-hmm. So like it's in some places like where it's like the character concept art roster got leaked.
Oh,
and in some
right.
Places, it seems like there's supposed to be some other characters in between, or like there's a bar that's behind all of the characters, but in some places that bar doesn't line up. So it's like, okay, there's a character missing, and we don't know how many characters or which characters they are that are missing. But right now, it is not mostly, but there's a lot of new characters, which is really cool. And that's really cool because Street Fighter 3 was a lot of new characters as well. Mm-hmm. And we haven't seen a lot of Street Fighter 3 characters return. And right now, from that leaked roster, there are no... I'm not seeing any Street Fighter 3 characters. So hopefully one of the ones that are missing is a Street Fighter 3 character, or we at least get, unfortunately, DLC later. Because I would prefer them to be base DLC, roster. But... we're getting DLC. I would just hope that at least some Third Strike characters are in the base roster. I don't
expect Gadget will have his day.
Ryu looks like somebody I know. which bothers me a lot. It's like
How
you look
many
like
shirtless, muscular, bearded men do you know, Phantom?
okay. It's the face and beard because like there's a and like back in high school there was like a lot
He
of
was a high schooler.
no,
This
okay,
Ryu
so
is definitely not.
there's like a lot of high school seniors that I knew when I was back in high school that like oh yeah like the big uh like kind of buffed out or like big armed Hispanic dude. And like, yeah, I know a few of these people. And like to me, Ryu looks like a Hispanic person that I know. Like a lot of Hispanic people that I was like, wait, I'm it feels so weird now because like I'm looking at you like I know you're supposed to be Ryu, but to me now you look like a super strong martial arts Hispanic guy, and it feels it's very strange, but it also makes it feel very cool because Ryu now has the full beard, which they should have went with like a default design in Street Fighter V. So he's just like in Street Fighter 6 he's just like really hot now. It's very strange, but also really cool at the same time. The way the game animates is also pretty interesting. Rather than I don't like completely rather than, but like in a lot of places you see like their bodies move a lot more, like actually like the way that they react to getting hit, the way or like the way that they block or slash parry moves, and it's kind of not like the way a lot of fighting games are. I'd say almost all of them, where it's like okay, you're clearly like canceling or like snapping into a different animation. It's more like the characters seem to actually be flowing into different animations rather than just like directly snapping into the next one in a lot of places. And it looks weird at first, but it just seemed the more I look at it, it's like really impressive. And I think I want to do like an analysis on it because it's very interesting.
I think the thing I like most about it is like how stylized the punches and stuff are. Like not the like the actual hits, but the effects that sort of follow them around. I'm trying to remember what the actual word is.
Graffiti.
Like Smash Brothers obviously has when it does its swings and the follow through lines are all like bright colors and stuff like that. And look like smears. This one has that whole graffiti Splatoon-esque aesthetic with with sweeping colors for each character, and it really makes the collisions like pop. Like Street Fighter 4 did something similar but kept it all in black and white essentially. And that was cool for that aesthetic, but I prefer the colourful one in this one. Street Fighter 6 just looks very impressive. All it really needs now is to not launch in a terrible state with no content like Street Fighter 5 did.
You already know that fighting has all the modes that are currently in Street Fighter 5.
That is perfect then, because
they
that
really
was Street Fighter 5's biggest problem. People want massive on the art style shift from Street Fighter 4, going from the more comic book style to something more realistic. But then the game launched with basically nothing, and everyone was upset by it. Capcom is back, and Street Fighter it's good to have it up here. But yeah, I guess that's everything worth talking about from the state of play. Overall, it was good. I actually kind of feels like their E3 thing. I know it's like slightly early, and Sony hasn't really done E3 in ages at this point, but I feel like the quality of announcements and the amount of big announcements sort of feels like what you would have expected from them.
Well, it was branded as a Summer Games Fest.
I'm sure Jeff Keighley can slap that logo on whatever he wants.
When you watch it, part of it literally says that's in the top. So it's like this is their E3, like E3-esque summer.
Yeah.
They missed out for like 2 years, and then they came back with this. It's like, oh damn, okay.
The whole Summer Games Fest thing is just really funny to me because it just I don't know what Jeff is doing to just get the Summer Games Fest name on stuff, because I'm sure Sony and Microsoft would have had these conferences regardless. And
absolutely. Yeah.
I get a kick out of the fact that one Xbox when E3 was going on, where both Summer Games Fest and E3 retweeted the Xbox show as if it was their own thing, when it didn't have the logos of either on it.
Yeah, I think it might be that Jeff is like wants to make this big centralized thing, like in the same way that E3 did, and it's like, okay, well, rather than since Jeff is also a bigger person. It's not like it's just some random schmuck that's doing it.
He
People
wants
are
to
gonna
make
be like,
it.
okay, yeah, let's talk to this person, or he's probably going to them and talking like, hey, can you? I know you're gonna do this presentation already, but could you just like put that little sticker right there, and then I'll put you on the mailing list so that people know.
Yeah, he's just doing. I don't know. It's just E3, but extended out over a far longer period of time.
Yeah.
Like E3 was a lot of announcements all at once, but I feel like at least how Summer Games Fest has done it previous years, they've all been like too spaced out apart that I just sort of forget Summer Game Fest is going on, so I don't even watch it. But oh well, it looks like I'm actually just taking a look at the not E3 presentation times coming up. You got like Dangan's today, in fact, actually.
Oh, what time?
What time is it now? But it might have already happened now that I'm looking at it. I think it was 10 a.m. Los Angeles time today. So yeah, that's already happened. Limited Run was also today, apparently.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh wait, Los Angeles. Oh no, 4 p.m. New York time was Limited Run. So yeah, that's not happened. Yeah, no, it's not.
It's in 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. God, I'm tired of forgetting what time everything is. Yeah, so Limited Runs that. Black Voices in Gaming is apparently Wednesday. Okay. Upload VR is on Thursday, and so is the actual Summer Game Fest from Jeff and the Devolver Digital show. And
the Devolver one's going to be interesting.
Jeff's already saying that his Summer Game Fest one is just going to be looking at already announced games and just getting more info on them.
Oh, then I guess I care, kind of, depending on what games are there.
Yeah. Then IGN's doing something, then Netflix is doing their next thing. So Netflix had a thing today where they've shown off like another trailer for the Resident Evil show, announced a few more characters for the One Piece live action show. Yeah. Probably done some other stuff, but I haven't actually looked.
We're supposed to be seeing some Sonic Prime and Cuphead stuff, I think, in a few days.
So right, that'll probably be on the Friday one then.
Yeah.
Microsoft's is Sunday, I believe. Yes. It is next Sunday at 12 p.m. So 1 p.m. So the time we started this next, but on this coming Sunday. So I guess that can be Good Morning Source Gaming next week.
Sure, yeah.
You can just do it slightly later and watch the Microsoft Bethesda thing.
Sure. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. And Nintendo obviously hasn't announced theirs yet, but I'm going to do an educated guess and assume it's the usual Tuesday, January 14th that they've done every single year for the past decade and a half.
When did they do a Nintendo Direct? Wait, was it last year or 2 years ago now? Oh my gosh, COVID. Did they do one in June or was it July?
No, I'm pretty sure they did one in June. They always do one in June.
Z3.
Yeah, it's the E3 one. E3 did happen last year, I think.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
did it? I thought it was 2 years ago.
No.
What?
Time flies.
I remember.
They didn't have E3 in 2020, and they had E3 in 2021.
Oh yeah, what did they do for 2020 then?
Nothing.
Okay.
E3 didn't do anything, but I'm pretty sure Nintendo's still in it.
No, I'm asking, what did Nintendo do?
Nothing. They did nothing.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, he's right. They didn't do anything. I'm just.
They did the fucking based partner showcases. That's all they did.
Yeah, they did a Pokemon Presents the week that E3 would usually happen, but then they did the Min Min one like a few days after, and then did something specifically for Pokemon Unite. But there wasn't anything there wasn't a main Nintendo Direct in 2020.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure we did get one in 2021. We got the E3.
Yeah, but that was E3.
Yeah, but
So
I guess that's true. So
again.
I guess E3's not here again. But I'd be surprised if they didn't do one because, like Colin said, they didn't do any. It's not like they pushed it to July or whatever. They swapped to the partner showcase and just did that over the summer.
I think like there's a direct soon. I just don't know how soon, and it's not. It has nothing to do with like oh, they don't need to do one now that E3 isn't the thing. I think it's just maybe they don't want to fuck with like this super volatile era where fucking random like publisher announcements keep just randomly happening at the drop of a hat,
Yeah.
like, and can just like steal any thunder.
Yeah.
That is true.
I think Nintendo will just treat this as they've usually done with a Direct and just sort of announce something a day before or a few days before. Actually, taking a look at it, Nintendo didn't do a single regular Nintendo Direct for the entirety of 2020.
They didn't.
I thought they...
No. There was
they
all
did a
either...
mini,
Minis.
and that was it.
Oh, that was a mini, yeah. That
They
was a
did. They
mini.
did one mini. They did a bunch of partner showcases, and then all the others were like game specific. Like either Smash Brothers, Pokemon, and Animal Crossing got one. Ring Fit Adventure got one.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter
that was a
got
long
one.
mini though. That did not feel like a mini. It was like 30 minutes or something.
Well, it was.
They
it was
considered
pretty,
it a mini, so
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, there is 2 Microsoft showcases this weekend. I wasn't sure if that chart was just wrong or not, but it seems that there are 2 for some reason,
It's like that.
which is just weird. But all right.
I think the first one's for announcements, the other one's for gameplay.
Right.
Something like
Okay.
that.
So the other one's like a
Okay.
Nintendo Treehouse sort of thing.
Yeah, like gameplay and interviews and stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, I'd be a little bit shocked if Nintendo didn't have an announcement coming at this time, and they always do theirs at the very end, or usually the second Tuesday of June. So June 14th, 5 p.m. BST, 9 a.m. It might not be that time this anymore, but that's what they usually did for E3, so they might just stick to that. That'll be the. That'll be when we get all of our announcements, and we'll probably live stream react to that as well. So that and the Microsoft one. But yeah, I forgot. I think that's everything we need to talk about in State of Play, really.
Yep.
So the other 2 things I had lined up. The next one is Sonic Frontiers, because
Can we talk about Sonic last?
No. I want to end on a higher note than than this.
Oh god.
Yeah. So Sonic Frontiers, they finally showed off gameplay of that, and
finally.
ooh,
really loose use of the word "finally" there.
It's just
I could tell I'm gonna be the odd person out.
I don't get it. I mean, just from first impressions, I still have hopes that this game might be decent to play, but it definitely doesn't look it from the gameplay that they showed so far. It's just like, why make it look so boring?
I think it's because the entire situation is really boring. Like, I was thinking about this the other day, right? Because this was a whole week-long affair. Like, they had to show us some bad gameplay, and then they were like, hang on, we got more later in the week.
Yeah, they had.
And everyone's like, don't worry, it'll get better.
Guys, it's an older build. The quills are different lengths.
I'm just. This is some people may take this the wrong way, but fuck it, I don't care. I'm gonna say it. The only interesting thing about Sonic Frontiers is that it's a Sonic game, and that is the only reason we are holding any discussion about this game at all. Because otherwise, A, just on its own doesn't look good. B, is releasing in a year that is filled with these fucking open world action adventure games. There's already too many releasing as is. The 2 new releases of this year that have sold the best over everything else is fucking Elden Ring and Pokemon Legends Arceus. And there's more coming. Like, Jesus Christ. Why do we need fucking Sonic in an open world game?
So I feel like Sonic in an
And
open
the
world
last
game...
thing, and the last thing is, haven't we been here before? Isn't this the 12th fucking time in 20 years we've had to do this with the Sonic franchise?
What do you mean?
Can we just stop? Can we just stop the fucking Sonic cycle and go, hey man, we'll just let them release the games when they feel like they want to release it, and then we can spend the following week determining if whether or not this was another fuck up or not, and then move on. Because like, there were people who were like emotionally upset like on Twitter. They're like, I can't believe they can't do this to Sonic. And I'm like, where the fuck were you guys the last, like, 9 bad games they released? And it sucks, too, because I don't want Sonic to be... I don't hate Sonic as a character. People treat Sonic like he's a real fucking person and that, like, he needs these games to do well so he can continue his career.
Sonic has
like
kids to feed.
like he's ugly Sonic in the fucking Chip and Dale movie. But he's not. He's Sega's, like, bread and butter, like, brand. They're gonna keep doing stuff with that IP until we're all long and gone. And I would just really like... Sega clearly knows developers who really like Sonic, like, way more than, like, the biggest online Sonic personalities you know. And it's like, where the fuck are these people? And what the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, I don't get this. I totally feel people being disappointed. I think people at this point, I think they sort of got used to Sonic being shite, and then finally got their hopes up again when Sega were like, oh, we're not just going to rush this one out, we're going to delay this, we're going to give them time. And then Sonic Mania came out and sort of like around, it had already come out around Forces, but they seemed to be doing good stuff Sonic Mania wise, and Sonic was like outside of the games was getting a lot of attention and stuff. So I think everyone was sort of hoping that the delay and all this would make this game look better, and I think that's the problem. It just doesn't. Like, Forces is bad for a lot of reasons, but when the first trailer for that game came out, it at least didn't look terrible from a design or perspective or anything like that.
I don't think any of these games are like fundamentally just from the get-go, like, these are determined to be bad games. No one sets out to make a bad game. Like, I don't think the people at Sonic Team are like, yeah, we'll just make this thing that's like 2 hours long.
Oh,
good
yeah,
enough.
yeah.
I don't think they're doing that shit. I don't think they're like, yeah, we're gonna make this Xenoblade ass looking Sonic game with Line Rider platforms in the sky. I don't think that was their intention, but it's like, this is what they did. This is what they felt comfortable showing. And if that's not incompetence, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like...
I think the way it's been presented has been pretty appalling, and it's left because the first impressions are everything, and people are already a bit worried with the Sonic running through a realistic environment. But if they had done something to actually sort of make that work and look good, then it might be fine. This really slow Breath of the Wild-esque gameplay just doesn't really fit Sonic. Like, I think the thing that really sort of made me sit there and feel somewhat uncomfortable watching this is that I'm so used to Sonic having kick-ass music. Like, I can at least rely on Sonic games to have good music, and there's fucking nothing in this game. It's the weird ambient stuff that's in every open world game, and it absolutely just does not fit Sonic at all.
By the way, I just want to mention that, like, I don't think this is, like, the worst game ever. Like, I don't think most Sonic games are the worst thing ever, but they're all, like, 4 out of 10s. And, like, who, like, even if that's not completely awful, it's like, what, like, why, like, I don't want to look at it or talk about it. Like,
look, from an actual gameplay quality point of view, I'm willing to bet that this game will be more fun to play than
Yeah.
Frontiers, Sonic Lost World, and well, obviously Sonic Boom were to play.
Damn, it's gonna be more fun to play than itself.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yes. That'll
Sonic.
That'd be funny if there was like
Sonic
a meta to it
Forces.
that like if you can speed run the game, if you know like the right combos to like do some crazy strafe running.
Yeah, it's more fun to play doing the speed run than it is to play doing it normally. In which case, it's more fun to play. Yeah, but no, I like because I think I can see what they're going for with this game. A big open world with lots of obstacles for Sonic to boost around and run around at high speeds. But like they're then also paranoid, I feel like, about having a game with nothing in it, so they're jotting things around just for Sonic to interact with, but then that slows the game down and like it puts it to a halt and stops it doing from what they actually want to be doing, which is running around, but they know that they have to have other stuff in there. Like I feel like the lack of any sort of enemies in this footage. There's obviously a combat one where he fought a weird giant generic looking robot that also didn't kind of fit in the Sonic aesthetic.
I'll say this much: it like that environment they're running around doesn't look like a game map. It looks like a tech demo island. Like it looks like it's just an environment for them to drop things in and then show you how it works.
That's exactly it. It looks like an Unreal Engine tech demo place where they've just got a bunch of cool little gimmicks for Sonic to test himself out, but not an actually competent put together level that you'd want to run.
Yeah, all the PR
game.
folk who have been playing the game, who are like, because they did send out a demo to journalists and they played it last week or like a week or two ago,
right?
And they what they got was completely different to what was in the footage. So before anyone thinks IGN swapped the reveal footage, no, they didn't. That is also like that is very clearly like developer footage. Like,
Yeah,
that's,
this
like,
is very clearly
really,
from
like,
Sega.
You can taste like the shadow play. Like you can you can taste the NVIDIA shadow play in those images in that video. But like I don't know. It just
yeah, I feel like the problem here is that you want a first reveal for a game to really be showing off what makes this game fun and what makes it like unique and stand out. And I don't think there's anything in this that makes this game look fun. If they had more action-packed footage of Sonic fighting enemies, dashing through big environments, maybe throw a couple of the puzzle things there. If he was going up that tower a little faster or something like that, like then it might have actually looked really like fun, because Sonic's a lot about speed, and that's why a lot of people play Sonic games, is just for that fake sense of speed. But this game, it was so slow. Sonic's very slow walk cycle everywhere to then into a light jog and then into his dash is not what I want to be seeing. I want to be, even if it's still boost, I want to be seeing Sonic boosting everywhere at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, there was what was it? There was like some people that were saying like, oh, what was Sega thinking with this? And it's like, well, it's obvious they thought like having Sonic do these not Sonic things would just set people off. Like they would just get people pogging off like, yo, he's doing a puzzle, you know, like it's
get the puzzle wrong.
That's basically what they thought, because it's like it's the same mentality behind like, well, this is why you show like an hour of Breath of the Wild of you know, Link running around and futzing about with like trees and shit. Of course, the big difference being that like seeing a franchise like Zelda move to open world is just like infinitely more interesting than like what has mostly been like a linear platformer series.
Yeah.
But also B, when Sonic's just doing shit that's like in other video games, both like already out and coming out soon, because it's just like it's the new like law of the land.
Mm-hmm.
It's the new Call of Duty clone. It's just making Elden Ring or Breath of the Wild or Skyrim again. It's just like, it doesn't appeal to me like from a Sonic game perspective, and it doesn't appeal to me from the perspective of just being a game in general. It just like it just exists.
Yep, it does.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that the next thing they give us for this game looks better. Like, at least give us more Sonic stuff. Because like, Sonic in this environment feels really weird because the environment just doesn't feel very Sonic-like. But it makes me slightly worried about how Eggman's going to look in this game. Is he going to be cartoony, or are they doing an 06 where they try and have him fit the aesthetic of everything and it just does not work at all? Because there was supposedly, Sega dropping hints at human characters that will show up in this game, and the concept art looked pretty good. But I'm just not getting that same sort of vibe from the world. So I feel like either everything in the world that you can interact with the humans, like the living beings, are going to look really weird. And then everything else is going to look like really realistic. I don't know.
I mean, given the fact that Sonic hasn't gone like a major design shift in the same way, like in a way that like in 06, like he is visibly different.
Yeah.
I think it'll still be like, the cartoony, like kind of like proportions that Eggman has always had. And if there's any other humans, it'll be like still like Unleashed or what other game with humans has come out actually? I don't think there has been any since Unleashed.
No, Unleashed was the last one that had proper human characters in it, and they kind of stepped away from that.
Yeah.
So, just to address Moon Goose Doodles, some of his comments in the chat, because he's just talking about how he's more interested in this game because it's not doing any of the Sonic stuff, and it might not fit the Sonic, but for people who aren't fans of Sonic, they wouldn't care about that. And I mean, yeah, but my counter argument to this is that you can do both of them. Because
you can feel this is a two-way argument.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a bad Sonic game, and it also just looks like a bad video game. In my opinion, I'm not being. It's everything. So everything you hear here is subjective. By the way, none of us are speaking facts. Just don't fucking take anything.
I also didn't say the
gospel.
Yeah. I also didn't say the word pissed either, so I don't know where you've gotten that from. I just said I wanted to refer to your comments.
But like it just Resident Evil Village is coming to Mac. Cool. Anyways.
I mean, it's not dismissing your point.
It's not dismissing it. It's like that's just how you look at a video game.
Yeah. Like to address your point in a different way, then. Yeah, it might not fit Sonic from a gameplay perspective, because I'm assuming that's what you prefer.
Alan Wonderworld is just appealing to different markets.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you can't want the game to look like a Sonic game visually while also still playing exactly like this and having all of these mechanics. Unless your point is that you want it to look like an Unreal Engine.
That's why the first thing I said when we were talking about this game.
In which case, that's I guess your opinion, and you're perfectly fine to have that. But I just don't think that visual style looks good at all.
Well, that's why I said the very first thing I said about this game is that if this did not have Sonic in it, we would not be talking about it.
Yeah.
There's literally not a single if they had if the game was completely the same but they swapped out the character model to fucking Crash Bandicoot or something, Owl the Kangaroo, or we would not be talking about this. We would.
Well, I think
legitimately just not.
Crash. It's it's different. Of course, people are gonna be talking about a Sonic, the Sonic game, because it's a Sonic game. It's the
brand is carrying that game.
If the game was exactly the same though, it's instead of collecting rings, you're collecting strawberries, and you're your name is Tyler the Fungal Maniac or something like that. I don't know. It's we probably be what the hell is this? And then that would probably be it. But it's I guess
yeah, that's the point.
Honestly,
that's why it doesn't look like a good game, but the brand is why we're actually discussing why it doesn't look like.
But I think
what's
funny?
Character.
It would be different though.
Hang on, fellas. I got a funny observation. If anything, if it actually looked like a Sonic game, it would be a fucking miracle, because Sonic Team cannot do that shit 2 times in a row. They cannot stick to a coherent style and build on it. Because of course this game looks nothing like Forces, which looks nothing like Boom, which looks nothing like Lost World, which looks nothing like Unleashed, which looks nothing like Generations, which looks nothing like Colors, which looks the fucking recurse. It just keeps going and going and going and going.
I mean, yeah, I guess like
Yeah,
I guess.
All right.
Because like from Generations to what? I think Lost World, right? It's Generations to Lost World. Then it's go back from don't do Lost World again.
Yeah,
No,
they
then
shoved Lost
Yeah.
World and Boom in between Generations and
I
Forces.
wouldn't count Boom because that's not Sonic Team. That's Big Red
I
Button.
mean, fair,
They
but I
sold
would.
that game for $50. It counts.
Fair, if you don't want to count Boom, sure, but you.
It's not meant to be the same. Like
Yeah, but yeah, sure. I'll give you.
completely different.
I'll give you Boom, but Lost World is definitely a different style from
Lost World is
Generations.
very
And
different.
then
Now,
Forces is not the same style at Generations. Like at best, Colors is the closest thing you can get to
it's not
Generations.
the exact same, but like like the boost gameplay 2D.
Yeah,
and
but
3D,
I mean,
like, in the
it's not
same
this,
game,
it's
like,
not the
that's
it's
what
not the
it is.
gameplay. It's like the visual style of it. Like that's what we're talking.
Visually?
Yeah, we're talking about visuals and aesthetics. Like colors, you can kind of see colors go to Generations. Generations is a weird one because it's trying to do like a mixture of the classic style and not with all the white, but that's because it's an anniversary game. But then Lost World decided to try and do Heroes again, basically, and make a super cartoony new take on the modern formula, and then immediately dropped it for Forces, where they decided we're going to have actual cities and desert version of Green Hill, and we're going to not have human characters anymore. We're just going to have all these animal characters instead who have never appeared anywhere. And now
God, I forgot about the storybook games. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I think it's not. I guess for me personally, like they put Sonic in like different environments. I think, but in regards to like in some aspects, it's like visually, like Lost Hex, still it's weird because Lost Hex was this is a completely new planet, but it's still very much like within like I guess everything that would look like Sonic's. Like you have the Deadly Six that look like Sonic characters. You have Eggman that still look like Sonic characters. Like the environments all look like, of course, like standard Sonic environments. So even though Lost Hex supposed to be like a brand new place, it still feels very much Sonic. I think the intention here for Frontiers is like, this is a completely new area, just kind of like how Lost Hex was, but like they're going even further. It's like, this is completely, it is meant to be completely different. Like, not, I guess, in terms of like design or this is a completely foreign place. You have no idea what's here. I think that's supposed to be like the purpose of like why it looks so visually different. So to me, it's just like it looks strange because it doesn't look like anything else that Sonic has done before. But it's like, like in terms of like level design and stuff like that as well. But it's like that's kind of the point to me, I guess. Well, I'm seeing it as like that's the point.
Well, anyway, shall we move on to the final thing that we wanted to discuss? Probably a more positive thing to talk about, I suppose.
Sonic will never be good.
I have a very different opinion between you and Colin, because I actually the thing is I actually am kind of not fully impressed in terms of like I would never use like the word fully impressed, but I actually do like the way that things are going for Frontiers right now. Like in some aspects, like I'm like it's like why is there like I do have criticism like
don't worry, Phantom, I'll rent it.
Go ahead. I'm just saying, like.
I mean, I'm trying to be optimistic and hoping that it's just.
I'll rent
fun.
the Switch version. I want to know.
I'm curious about that. I was like,
like they're gonna have to really, really upsell me on the visuals and the pace and all this, because everything so far from music, the weird Unreal Engine-esque environments, the weird rails and stuff placed haphazardly around the map. I'm sure they're placed within reason, but they don't look naturally put into the world at all. And
I think
just like the pop-in as well, as people have talked about, and Sonic's really weird stiff movement when he's slow, at least. Like it's little things like that which which aren't important for gameplay, but I would have hoped that if Sega were delaying this game in order to make it look better, that it wouldn't look animation-wise worse than Forces still did. Like, yeah.
I understand, because the reality of the fact is that also like they're being quite coy about it. Like they're like, oh, here's here's some gameplay. No, here's no UI though, and also like there's not going to be any talking over, so we're not gonna like explain what's happening. Like we're not going to explain to you what the game is. And I can understand for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I'm seeing this footage. I have no idea what's happening. This doesn't even feel like a real game because I can't see like where's the game part? Where's for a lot of people, and I can understand that. But for me personally, it's just like, oh, I'm a person where it's like I don't. When it comes to like the gameplay footage, like yeah, things like the Breath of the Wild treehouse was really cool because we were seeing, not just because we were like fully seeing that game for the first time, but you know, there was explanation about what's happening, but also the reason why I would have preferred to like not have somebody talk and tell me about the game. I do like enjoy the I enjoy like seeing the game, and it's like just seeing the game with nobody telling me what it's like, and I get to make my own impressions, or like I get to feel out what I think is supposed to be happening, because it makes me a lot more curious about what's happening. It makes me a lot more interested actively.
I mean, that's fine, but they did that and they ran the risk, and it made the game look really boring to like 90% of people.
Well, that's why
they climbed up a fucking tower and there was nothing at the top.
That was weird. Like it feels like the tower. It feels like that it would activate something in the actual game, but they'd already activated it, so they were just showing them climbing up the tower again, which is like.
That's why I already said at the start. Yeah, for a lot of people, if they're going to get a different feeling, I'll explain that. Like, yeah, but now I'm explaining my perspective because you guys already spoke about it. I'm like, yeah, I understand everybody else's feeling. I'm just explaining, showcasing my different. Perspective.
Fair.
And it's just like, I think, I do have criticism. I was like, in some places, like, oh, this is open. It's an open world Sonic game. Movement is kind of like, in some ways, kind of like, even though Adventure does have like its like actual like levels fully planned out and stuff like that, the way that you move around a lot of those environments is kind of like, oh, you can easily walk on those different terrains and stuff like different terrains, even it's like, you know, to this a curve upward. It's like, yeah, you shouldn't be able to walk there realistically, but it's like, this is your Sonic, you go fast and you can. And in some places I'm like, yeah, that's really cool that Frontiers has that. And other places I'm like, okay, why are there still like boost panels? Why is it that I'm in a lot of places they're relying on boost panels to make you go fast when Sonic should already be fast? I think that's like one of my main criticisms so far is the fact that it in a lot of places it seems like, from the footage that we got so far, it seems like there's a lot of places where Sonic shouldn't need help running up or around like a hill, rather that he should the physics of it should be like, okay, if he's going up an incline, it's like, okay, he's gonna slow down a little bit. That's the perfect time to use your boost, and then you go faster. But if you're like going downhill, it's like, okay, I should continuously go faster. I shouldn't. I should build up momentum I should be building up momentum, not slowing down and then feel like I have to use my boost. My boost should be like, oh, either you're gonna go really fast and it's gonna be a little bit difficult to control, because you're going really fast. Or it's just like, oh, you need help to get up something, because naturally, how physics works is that you're not, you wouldn't be able to do that normally. And I think that's like mostly where my criticism would come. But outside of that, it's like, oh, I'm very interested in like to see what more is good. Oh, actually, hold on, the combat. I think the combat looks really weird in some places in terms of like the actual animations, and that's the part where I'm like, and that's the part where I'm like, okay. I think I need to see UI now, because you're fighting this like a few enemies for like 5 minutes, it felt like, and it's like, okay, are there like, is this like an RPG where there's like levels or something? Because if I'm fighting an enemy for that long, Sonic should be knocking them out like very quickly. Like for like that boss was like, okay, the pacing of the boss was actually pretty good, but those like standard enemies that are just around the field, it's like, whoa, this is taking far too long. And I think either there's a level system that we don't know about yet, or they really messed that up. That does not look good. That definitely absolutely does not look good in terms of the combat of that just taking far too long.
It looks like it would be very button mashy. Like I don't know, just not like
the boss fight is so funny because they've turned off the HUD. So there is a sequence when you walk up to the boss when they walk up to the boss. It zooms in on the boss, completely motionless, presumably the name of the boss is supposed to be there, but it's not because they turned off the HUD. But during this sequence, you can see a bird fly up and through the boss while it's standing completely motionless. It is so fucking comical.
Wait, for real? I didn't even see
Yes.
that. Let me go back and see that. Where's the? Oh god, I usually have so many videos on the channel. God damn.
Right. Well, anyway, I want to move on to the next topic because I want to make sure we sort of finish on time, considering we've done it a bit later than normal. And we only had one other major news topic to talk about, really, and that was Pokemon Violet and Pokemon Scarlet. So, yay, we got to see them. And I'm curious, what do we all really think about the new Pokemon games? I'm actually I actually think it was a really good trailer, and I'm actually a bit more excited for it than I was previously. From obviously the first trailer didn't really give us much to go on, but I think they made a good first impression. It still looks very janky in points graphically. Like when I actually watched it, you can see the pop in, you can see the textures coming in. But I like the designs of all the new Pokemon so far, and I think a lot of the mechanics, especially 4-player co-op, if these are done right, then it's going to be like a lot of fun to play. That was like my sort of first initial impressions. But I've kind of just been off of the internet when these were announced. Like I didn't know that there was a trailer happening until it started happening. And I know people really like LeChonk for the name, because why wouldn't you? But I don't really know the impressions from anything else, really. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Pokemon?
I thought it was cool that they showed off like 4-player co-op. I hope it works better than the online connectivity of Sword and Shield, where the game started running at like 15 to 20 frames because of the online connectivity. I would really like it if it was like hopefully just you and your friends and not trying to populate the world with a bunch of
I think that's the idea.
Live trainers this time.
Yeah, that was the impression I got, that it's meant to just be you and your friends running around. The thing I'm most curious about is the trailer seemed to imply that you and your 4 friends can be there, and then they all go off in completely different directions. Does this mean that you don't have to stick together in online play? Like it drops you off in this open world, and you and your friends can just go about on your merry way through the world, and then just randomly run into each other. Like the way I guess I'm thinking about it is like Kirby in the Amazing Mirror, where it just drops you in the world and everyone runs around and does their own things and can like fly back to each other if they need to. If they get caught, is that what this game is? You can just run around the map on your own terms and occasionally bump into your friend?
Because I think because like in one part of the show, it's like, you were with your friends. One friend is in another place, you're in one place, and then they trade between one another. So I think the idea is like helping each other, not just explore, but like also like, hey, I found this Pokemon that you don't yet have in your Pokedex. I'm gonna send it to you or something like that. I think it might be like help explore the region and collect Pokemon either faster or like just do it cooperatively rather than just by
that's
yourself.
Really cool. Because like if it can handle that, like that's cooler than just having co-op play. That's essentially the equivalent of an MMO, but not massive, I guess. Because there's only the 4 of you. But just running, if say the 4 of us were playing it, and I'm just running around somewhere, and then I see you phantom off in the distance trying to do something ridiculous to catch a Pokemon. And I'm seeing this from 30 meters away, and you haven't seen me yet or whatever, and I can throw a Pokeball at you to get your attention. Stuff like that. That's really cool open world immersive stuff that the Pokemon series could really thrive from. But it needs to be done right to get this working. And I don't know. Obviously, I'm not a developer, so I don't know how power intensive or Wi-Fi intensive this must be to do. But it feels like something I wouldn't have expected them to be able to do, on the Switch based on like how previous games have been. So if that is what they're going for, I'm going to be incredibly impressed.
Yeah, and it's also like really cool because like as it directly states, like, oh, the way that you play, the order of how you play is not dictated by the story at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like we're really, it's not like, yeah, you go off do your own thing for
Yeah.
real. Like, yeah, you can if you want to go if there's gyms or however they want to do like the league challenge or whatever. That's like, oh yeah, I'm at this gym right now, and you're out, so somebody else is at a different gym.
Yeah,
Or, like,
that's
completely,
what
like,
I
at completely different
expected
parts.
would happen. I wonder, because if story-wise, then, like, it's going to be, like, a bunch of separated... So there are two ways of doing this. There's either, like, you have a bunch of separated story events, and then once you've done all the story events, like, key things begin happening at certain points, and you're just expected to go to where that key story happens. Or, the alternative, which I actually kind of like, is that there isn't... the overarching story is just during the gyms and then the Elite Four. But there's like lots of little sub-missions and subplots happening all around the world, so that you can just stumble upon your own personal stories, or like the stories of just individual people's. Like you roll up to some village and someone's like having his own little conflict. Maybe he's had a fight with someone and that person's gone onto the woods and gone lost or something. And so you go over there and that's like its own self-contained story. Essentially subplots in video games, but actually like just slightly more fleshed out for the characters that you run across, and just make that the focus rather than having an overarching story. And there can be hints about something bigger across all of these that might lead, but those hints should like lead you towards the ruins, or should help you find like amulet pieces or something, and then you find the ruins where these amulet pieces are needed, and you now know that there are like 7 of them hidden around. Because then the player gets to decide to go back there for that, like themselves when they found them, rather than the game forcing them that way. I feel like that style of progression really fits the Pokemon series, because Sword and Shield has a really stupid ending to its main game, but the actual like idea of joining a Pokemon football league essentially is like one of the better story ideas that they've had. And I think that simplicity just works a lot better with Pokemon. I think the Pokemon series can do good story without hammering it into your face. They just, at least from like Gen 3 onwards, they just kept wanting to try and hammer it into your face. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes it just didn't at all.
Yeah.
That's my little story around there. But
I think I need to see more. I need to see more of the area, or like not area, the world itself, because it is very interesting that be able to go anywhere that you want. Okay, now what are these places I'm going to be exploring on? Like what? Like it, yeah. Like the open world game needs the world. I need to see more of the world first.
yes,
and
yeah,
I
you
also
the
need to see a
towns,
lot
see
more
the
of the
gym leaders, etc.
I need to also see a lot more of the Pokemon because, and character design, because this looks, of course, with James Turner having done like I think art direction and Pokemon design direction for Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Of course, the Pokemon look very different. The legendaries look really cool. I think this is the first time in a while where I've been like, oh, both legendaries look really cool. I don't know which to pick between. The character designs are interesting. They're not as, I don't want to say anime, but like they feel very toned down, like kind of like somewhat regular people rather than like vibrant, spiky haired, multicolored hair characters.
So I compared them to Pokemon Go style characters on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I actually do agree with people that I think they're a bit more Pokemon Snap style of characters.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree with that as well.
Like it's somewhere in between Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go tries to be realistic while still having sort of cartoon anime shading because it's Pokemon, and that's because the trainer is you and it's meant to be like you, so they want to go there. Whereas Snap goes to something that looks a bit more realistic for Pokemon, still has a bit of the traditional Pokemon style in the eyes and stuff, but is going for slightly more realistic proportions and toned down looks. And I think that this is like going for that. I really think the eyes are, and the way the faces are shaped on the kids, is probably the big difference. In fact, the face shape in general feels like the face shape is a bit more realistic, and the eyes aren't the usual Pokemon style eyes that we're all used to at this point, and that's why everything looks different. But I quite like it. I think it's good to have a change. I mean, this isn't the first time the Pokemon art style has shifted. Like it does it every couple of gens. But I don't have a problem with this one.
I think I already have an idea, or not, because usually when I think like, oh, Pokemon's going to do this thing, and then I end up being completely off. Yeah. But I think this time around, I think there might be the gimmick of this game might be something to do with, of course, time travel, maybe, because you have the professors named the Sato and Turo, which is shortened from the words I think Pasado and Futuro.
Yeah, that's the thing. Past and future.
And then also the designs of the legendaries as well. And then at the end of that trailer, it ends in a weird way because it seems like it would be leading to something else, but then it just fades out, like a Pokeball going through like that, like a glass. It was just like some glass, like very silver background. Like a Pokeball was traveling through something, and it wasn't the trading animation, because we already saw what the trading animation looked like. So it's like, okay, are you going to be like for maybe specific areas, not like the whole entire overworld changes, but maybe specific areas you're able to like go to the past and like either like explore the past or the future with your your trainer friends in the multiplayer.
This is Sonic CD. Go back in time and change the past and change the present.
Yeah, something like that. Because like if you're gonna do like the past and future elements within both the legendaries and the professors, they're going to be studying those aspects. It's kind of like, okay, are we going to be going to the past? Are we going to go to the future? I'm not sure how they'll incorporate that into actual like battle gameplay. That'll be interesting, but I think in terms of world.
There's a game called Chris Tales that does time stuff that I reviewed. And you play in the present, and you can send you fight enemies that are in the past and enemies that are in the future at the same time, and you can send attacks into the past and then change the future and past like that yourself. So some examples are like, you can throw a seed at an enemy and it attaches to it, and then you can send that area to the future, and the seed is now all grown up and is like attached to the enemy and doing attacks and stuff. And I saw, but like changing stuff also changes the enemy. So like you might be fighting a baby wolf, but if you throw it to the future, it becomes like an adult wolf and stuff like that.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah,
I think something like that would never work for Pokemon.
No, there's too many Pokemon for that to work.
It's not just that there's too many Pokemon. It's the fact of any like gameplay gimmick that they add into like for the main game also gets incorporated into like actually battling with another real person. I feel like you can't do something like that with Pokemon.
Yeah, I joked with my friends that you'd be able to like send Bulbasaur to the future and have like 1,000-year-old Bulbasaur.
Or have it like evolve mid-battle.
Fight. I mean, thinking about it now, what if it's just like, oh yeah, this is how we get those Hisuian versions of the Pokemon. These are like the past versions.
That sounds really interesting.
And stuff like that. And they just use this to like introduce more ancient, or do the opposite, have future versions. This is what this Pokemon will evolve into in like 100 years from now.
Ooh, that sounds really cool. Okay.
But no, you're right. The theme is definitely past versus future, or innovation versus tradition, or something along those lines. For sure, that's definitely the theme they're going for here. And presumably, Violet is going to be more on the side of future innovation. Scarlet's going to be more tradition. How this affects gameplay, who knows? But it has to be something that is competitively viable, because not unlike Legends, which is a main series game, but they didn't intend it to be the competitive game. They were trying something new. That's why Sword and Shield is still the competitive one. Scarlet and Violet is going to be the replacement of X and Y, so the gameplay needs to be competitively viable. And I mean, I've got friends in the Pokemon competitive community, and a lot of them are fine with, I think, Sword and Shield, but they didn't like the changes made in Sun and Moon and preferred how it was done in X and Y. And some people don't even like the jump to X and Y and thought it got too complicated from there. So like, I just hope that whatever they do is like better than just Z moves, or and Dynamaxing, because Dynamaxing is very sort of busted.
I mean, this wouldn't be like the first. I think they could probably do like what you said, like change like different forms, because it wouldn't be the first time we had like a Pokemon change. Not
I
just
mean,
like put
my
in from
only
the
thing with that
battles,
is
but
if they're
like
doing that, it's just the same as Mega Evolution at that point, really.
well, yeah, it would be the same as the Mega Evolution. It's like
Yeah.
yeah, what was it Primal Groudon and Primal Kyogre? They're
Yeah.
reverting to like their old
They
forms.
they
and,
were
like, where
meant
they're
to be the
stronger.
Mega Evolution, basically for those Pokemon.
Yeah.
So it'd
So,
just
I
be
mean-
that, but with a different name.
I mean, it could be like not like you don't get like necessarily like a stat boost, but like it is a different Pokemon, maybe in terms of like moveset or type wise, like something like that. That'd be I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that could be something, changing the types and stuff. And there's also something someone brought up, like or at least I saw like some people reacting to it. Good Vibes Gaming, for example, like I watched their live reaction to it, and they were pointing out how one of the Pokemon, the turtle one, I think,
Yeah.
had like it felt like a slightly different shade to how it was before in previous Pokemon games. Like it's not the same shade of blue, and that might just be a change. That might just be a lighting thing. But it did get me wondering. I wonder if they might do slightly more subtler color changes, variations in Pokemon. Pretty random comparison, but Kirby in the Forbidden Land, for Waddle Dees, there's like 6 different color variations of them. Like they can be 6 different shades of orangey brown to add some variety to them, and it made me wonder, like, could they do that in this game? Could like you get Pikachu and some are like slightly darker yellow Pikachu and some are slightly lighter, brighter, and some have a bit of an orange hint to them? Like it's not as rare as shinies, which outright change the color completely, but like very subtle shifts in the palette to make each Pokemon sort of feel a bit more unique. Like that might be neat for a sort of minor mechanic to have, although I can imagine collectors in Pokemon being like, I have to get one of every shade.
Yeah.
I mean, like, actually, yeah, it's stuff like Arbok having different designs on its, like, face thing, or Spinder having different spots on its body, for, like, each one you find and having different variations. That would be neat. On the topic of exclusives as well, I am wondering what the difference between Scarlet and Violet will be. So, because, like, obviously the differences are usually Pokemon, right? Like what Pokemon you find in there, what legendaries you get. But if this game is going to have that 4-player online that we were talking about, where you can just spend the game walking around like a map with your friends, if you have Violet and you have Scarlet, but you're walking around the same map, would you just walk around the host's map? Like, what limitations are there? Because I would have imagined if you were walking around at the same time, they can't really limit the story and the content that way. And
Right.
like, do the version differences matter then at that point? If like you bought Violet, but then you just play the game like exclusively online with your friend who has Scarlet, the Pokemon variants wouldn't really matter that, unless they can somehow make it so that even if you're playing on the same map, depending on what version you have, depends on what Pokemon shows up. But it would kind of break immersion if you see one specific Pokemon coming towards you and your friend sees a different one because that one's not in their game. It's making me wonder what the version differences will actually be, other than the legendary, of course, which I think will be tied to a story point that only you can do as a character.
Oh yeah, that would be like a good point because, like, say for instance, you walk into the professor's lab that you're doing between Scarlet and Violet, you're gonna be seeing 2 different characters. So
Yeah.
It's like,
So my assumption for that is the theory that people have had, where there's 2 separate like rival Pokemon schools, like the orange one and the grape one or whatever.
yeah,
And both are going to be in both versions of the game, and the professor is going to be in both versions of the game. But the one that you enroll in is going to be the one that you've enrolled in will be based on which version of the game you get.
okay,
So like, and even then, now even thinking about this, depending on how they really want to go at it, you see you got that house at the start of the game. What if that's not like your parents' house? What if that's like a dorm for the school?
Oh, that'd be really funny.
And
That'd be
that
really
would explain why everyone basically comes from the same house. Right? So you've gone to basically a boarding school, and there's a violet one and a scarlet one, and like they're in both versions of the game, but which version? Basically, when you buy your version of the game, it enrolls you in that school immediately, and so the beginning of the game is slightly different for both. But then, as soon as you've done that first tutorial thing, and then it throws you into the open world, you can then go online and meet people from the other schools and stuff like that. Like that would be cool. That would be really cool. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to see. I'm impressed so far with what I've seen. Graphics could still do a bit of work, but I like a lot of the gameplay stuff here. We'll just have to see if it can match the expectations that are now suddenly quite high in my mind.
We can't wait till the next trailer because hopefully there's more story, so we get more context.
Yeah, we will. Now that we've got this initial thing and we have a release date for it, they'll probably have a more steady release of showing new stuff like new Pokemon, new gym leaders. I can't remember exactly what the pace was for Pokemon Sword and Shield, but I feel like there's at least one thing a month, so we'll probably
You know,
have
at least the
Yeah,
Scarlet and Violet trailer is running at a higher resolution than the initial trailer did.
Yeah, so that's a good sign.
There's like way less aliasing. There's still a shitload of aliasing, but there's way less aliasing.
Right. Okay. Anyway, that was. I think that's everything. Unless anyone's got anything to say on Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. Anything more? If not, I think we've hit everything I was planning on discussing for this week. So, do you have anything else to say?
Team Deck's cool.
What do we have? Oh, my bad.
Hmm?
I didn't mean to cut Colin off. My bad.
No, I got nothing else.
Oh, what do we have lined up in terms of content?
Oh yeah.
Because I think Sling said that they had something they wanted to mention.
Yeah.
I thought
you there?
I thought they did.
Not
Yes.
anymore. Oh.
I'm working on a compilation of essentially listing out the top #1 best-selling third-party games for every Nintendo platform.
Mhm.
There's no substantial data for the Virtual Boy or the Wii U. It's fucking
Absolute
alright.
Travesty cry. But what we can, what we can get.
Yeah. I am just gonna have to make educated guesses on those.
Yeah, but yeah, we should hopefully have that come. That should be coming up soon. I've also got coming up soon a Fire Emblem video to coincide with Fire Emblem 3 Hope's release. That's been on the back burner for a while, and I know people have wanted to see. So I'm going to get that going because now's a good time to get it done. We're also going to be obviously we'll be covering a bit of Mario Strikers when that comes out as well. So that's next Friday. Maybe I'll do a stream of it. Maybe I won't. I want to play the game first, but it's obviously an online heavy game, so I need to see how many people actually have it. Maybe we can do see how the online is built, and we can play like some of you guys online.
Did you try any of the demo?
I didn't. I was going to try the demo, but I kept missing the time, and then when the one time I could do it, I was like, well, at this point, you know what, I might just hold off and then play it when it comes out.
That's how they get you.
Well, I'm going to get it to review anyway. Probably. I mean, assuming Nintendo does send it to us, but I don't see why they wouldn't. So I was like, well, if that's the case, then I may as well. I can just wait and try. But we'll see.
Is there anything else?
No, I think that's it. So, also, just as an update actually on the Smash 4 Cut content as well, that video is in development. Yoshila, who does the editing for it, has had a bunch of computer problems over the last month, so he's got a backlog going at the moment. But he's chipping away at it. Hopefully it comes out next month. Like that's the ideal. But it shouldn't be long to wait on that. But anyway, cool. It's now past 8 o'clock. I haven't had any, for me at least in the UK, I haven't had any dinner, so I am ready
geez,
to go
yeah.
and eat something.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us for Good Monday Source Gaming.
Yeah.
Next Sunday ties in with the Microsoft thing, so we'll probably just watch that. We'll probably just do a live reaction for that. It says the good morning, and then when Nintendo finally announce their direct time, we'll do a live reaction to that as well.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully, Microsoft announces some interesting things.
all of Bethesda stuff's been delayed to next year. Microsoft's just like, shit, we have
Yeah.
nothing. Oh no. Eat some pork and olives. I mean, I do need to find something to go with all the potatoes that have been cooked upstairs. Alright. Later, everyone.
See
Have a good one.
ya.
Goodbye.
Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Among Us.